think with all our projects, we try and create an emotional response. And I think that changes depending on what space of the house you're in. So in the foyer, we want to create a sense of awe when you first walk in. Whereas up in the bedroom, we want to create a sense of calm and protection. My name is Dom, I'm from Pandolfini Architects, and this is the South Yarra house. So we're on quite a busy street in South Yarra. It's very urban. It's a relatively large site and is surrounded on either side by apartment buildings. One a contemporary one and one a post-war building that looks directly into the site. We had quite a simple brief for this site. The clients wanted a relatively large house. They wanted a lot of space for entertaining. So there's a lot of different spaces that you can withdraw to. And they wanted it to provide a lot of privacy. We worked really closely with Simone Haig and her team, and we got her on board quite early in the process so that she could help shape the house and all the materiality.
My name's Simone Haig and I'm an interior decorator, and our team were the stylists here alongside Team Pandolfini. It was amazing to be invited onto the project by Pandolfini and to come on at such an early stage. So between Phil and Dom and myself, we had lots of coffees, lots of chats, lots of our client meetings together. So there was a real alignment in our approach so that for the client, the result felt really seamless.
So the street is a really busy street, and the idea for the front of the house was that it gave nothing away to the street and also acted as a really protective container for the inhabitants and the kind of sculptural forms within. So you enter into the house under the big heavy concrete facade and you walk into a really large double height foyer space. So from the foyer, you walk up a spiral staircase. And then you open up again into the living space, and that's elevated on the first level. This has allowed us to bring a lot of natural light into the plan and have a big terrace, but also provide protection from the adjacent apartment buildings. In addition to the main living space up here, we've got this bar and big generous kitchen with a huge island bench where people can sit around. So there's a few different dining areas through the space. On the very top floor of the house is the main bedroom. And the main bedroom upstairs has its own little private living area and a dressing room. So on the ground floor, we've got the other bedrooms in the house, a living area, and opening onto a big courtyard. We worked really closely with Miles Baldwin, who's done an amazing job with the landscape. It was critical that his gardens were integrated in the building to provide a sense of privacy and to shield the house from the adjacent apartment buildings.
We were super excited when we heard that Miles Baldwin were doing the landscape architecture. I think it made for a really strong cohort. We knew that our outdoor furnishings had to have a texture and pop within them, but we didn't overthink it. We knew it was going to be gorgeous.
So we've got this quite blank monolithic form at the front, but within that we've got a lot of sculptural forms. So there's the big curved form of the living area that projects into the foyer. So from the foyer, you walk up a spiral staircase and you walk in between this very textured brick wall. So you come from this big foyer space into this quite tight walkway. The kitchen island bench we've rendered in natural stone, but we've got all these exaggerated forms, and the different angles and curves we've used have an amazing play of light across them. The material palette is pared back and quite simple. There's a lot of exposed concrete and brickwork, which can be quite heavy, but it's softened by some beautiful textured timber flooring, natural stone in the kitchen and living area. We've got black timber battens, which we've used as wall panelling and to conceal doors, and aged brass. The idea behind the main bedroom is that it's a very relaxing space to withdraw to. There's no heavy exposed materials like elsewhere in the project. In contrast to that, the bathroom is quite a dark, cave-like space. So we've got these beautiful granite tiles which line the floor, walls and ceiling. We've also got some beautiful skylights and windows that bring light in. There's a lot of materials through the house, and a lot of them are quite raw and heavy, and that's where the amazing interior comes into it and softens that experience.
Working so closely with Team Pandolfini, we're obviously able to access the architectural palette really early on, and I'm really pleased with how there's a softness about the furniture and how it sits within this really sexy, raw architecture. We didn't want the selections to be too avant-garde. We wanted them to be honest and sexy and gorgeous and sit really comfortably within the architecture, which was such a privilege to furnish within. So for our studio, it's not just about the selections that we make, it's about the experience we provide to our client. We loved seeing how the house went from an empty shell to a fully furnished home within 24 hours, and I think the client got the best of both worlds.
Look, we're incredibly proud of this house and how it's all come together. The materiality and the forms I think is quite unique for a residential project, and it's probably the most ambitious project we've done to date. My favourite part of the house is the foyer space. It's completely unexpected when you walk through the front door, and in terms of what we've achieved in conjunction with the structural engineers and the builders has come together better than we could have expected.
This video is brought to you by 10, our debut hardcover book celebrating 10 issues of the local project. 10 unites the very best projects from the first 10 issues of the publication into a beautiful single volume. With over 400 pages of architecture and design from both leading and emerging creatives, the hardcover book takes readers on a curated and meditative journey. The premium paper stock of the book means 10 is an enduring addition to a coffee table or library to be enjoyed for years to come. With worldwide delivery available, have 10 delivered directly to your door. Head to the link in the video description to purchase your copy now and use the code BOOK5 at checkout for a 5% discount.